Okay, so welcome to week 5, which is palm trees along the shore. For this one, round 1, we are starting with the lime coloured yarn, and join your yarn to your hook, and then we are making a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to slip stitch that to form one of those little circles there, and then we chain 3. That counts as your first treble, and then we're going to work 11 UK trebles into this, because your chain of 3 counts as your 12th treble. So for this we're going to go all the way round, and I always recommend, particularly for your first round, that you do a double check to count your number of stitches. So let's see where we've got to. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that should be 12 if we include this chain 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then we're going to slip stitch to join. So you've got a nice, neat little circle there. And then we're going to chop this off, sew the ends in, and we'll be back in a moment with round 2.
Do I need to restart? Carry on.
No, we'll just carry on, because I assume you can chop it as you need to.
Look at you go! This is amazing.
Yeah, not every round is this quick, obviously.
No, of course
But
not.
there we go.
Cool.
Right, so that's how you look at the end of round 1. So for round 2, we're going to join the mustard yarn in between any 2 of the stitches, and then do a chain of 3. So I'm going to do 1 with the tail, and then 2 with the working yarn, and then we work 1 UK treble into the same space. So that's that one. Next we're going to each time miss a stitch and then work 2 trebles into the next little gap. So that's 2 in there, miss that stitch, go into the gap between. So you're going to work all the way around the circle into these gaps, and then slip stitch here to your top of your chain 3. So I'm going to carry on working that, and we'll be back in a minute to show you round 3. Okay, so this is how it looks after round 2, and we're now going to start round 3 with lime. So for this one you are actually working back into round 1. So you're finding the top of one of the stitches from the round below, and then we're going to join in the yarn, and it will stretch your first stitch, so don't think you're doing anything wrong. That is what will happen. So we're doing a chain of 3 because we're going to be working some trebles. So we've joined that in. We're now going to work a treble into the same stitch. So you can see there that you're wrapping this second mustard layer as you work this, and then we're going to work 2 trebles into each of the stitches, the lime stitches, on round 1, and you'll see that it does actually make your trebles look slightly different. I'll just do a couple. So we're going between and into the top of that stitch. Missing those 2, going into there and doing 2 trebles. So you can see here how the bottom bit of the treble is quite stretched there, probably more so than a lot of your trebles. They are a little bit stretched on the others, but more so than on those, and you can see how it's covering the ones behind. So I'm going to carry on doing these pairs of trebles all the way round, and then we'll rejoin you here. Don't break off your yarn this time. You can slip stitch to join, but don't break off the yarn because we're going to be doing the next round in the same colour. So we'll be back in a minute with the rest of the trebles done. Okay, so that's how it looks at the end of round 3. Notice I haven't broken the yarn off because round 4 is also worked in lime. So I've slip stitched to here, which was the top of the original chain 3, and then you just slip stitch across those and into the next hole. Okay, we're going to do 3 chains and 2 trebles into the same space. So that's the equivalent of 3 UK trebles. You're then going to miss your 2 stitches and work another 3 trebles into the next space. 2, 3, and then we're going to miss 2 and work 3 trebles into the next space. And we're going to keep doing this all the way round. So it's miss 2, work 3 trebles into your next space. So we're going to go all the way round, slip stitch to here, and then fasten off. And we'll be back in a moment with the next round. Okay. Okay, so this is how you look after round 4, and we have slip stitch to join and sewn the ends in. We're now working with emerald, and we're working in the spaces between the groups of 3 trebles. So we're going to join the yarn as normal, do 1 with the tail and do 2 with the working yarn, and then we're going to do 3 trebles this time into this space. So 1, 2, 3, and then you miss those next 3 stitches, and each time we're going to be working into the space between the groups. So I'm doing 4 trebles now into each gap. So miss your 3 and work 4 trebles. So we're going to do that all the way round, working into every one of the gaps, and then slip stitch to join and fasten off, and in the end you should have at that point 48 stitches. Okay, we'll be back in a moment. Okay, so this is how you should look after round 5. All these sets of 4 trebles going around. Next we're going to join the lime back in, and it needs to be into the second stitch of any of these sets. So you've got 4 there, I'm taking that as 1 and this is 2. So that's where I'm going for this one. And we'll bring the yarn through as before, and this time we're just working 2 chains. So I've got the one with the tail. Oops, need to set my hand up properly. There we go. Then we're going to work a half treble into the next stitch. So I hope you can see that there. So that's my 2 chain into that one, and then a half treble into that stitch. Okay, now this is the one, we've done some of these before. We're going to do front post double trebles. So a double treble is where you wrap twice, and we're working into the, or round, because it's a front post one, the middle of the 3, and it's not the row below, it's the row below that. So we're into the lime row again. So 1, wrap and 2, wrap and 3. Okay, we'll do another one. So 2 wraps under and across like so, and back, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do a third one. Same thing again. I like to try and get my yarn underneath there. So wrapping through 2, wrapping through 2, wrapping through 2, and then we're going to do 2 half trebles, 1, 2, into those middle 2 stitches there. So we've missed a stitch and we're working into the centre 2 just at the top. It does always feel slightly offset, so don't worry, that is correct. And then we start again, another double treble around the front post of that middle stitch of the 3. So 1 double wrap, 2, and then another double wrap under and across, and then I like to bring it down there. 1, 2, 3, and then we wrap just once to do the half treble, and again. Okay, I'll just do you one more set and then I'll leave you to crack on with getting those done. So it's a double wrap. We find those 3 stitches and go under and across like so. Wrap and through 2, wrap and through 2, wrap and through 2, and then again under and across. Wrap and through 2, wrap and through 2, wrap and through 2, double wrap under and across, bring it back through, wrap and through 2, wrap and through 2, wrap and through 2, and then another 2 half trebles into those. Right, I'm going to leave it there for now and let you get all the way around again, and then we're going to slip stitch to join here. So we'll see you again in a moment. Alright, so this is how you should look after round 6, and it's quite 3D, is this? I don't know just sort of how well that shows on camera, but it's quite kind of ripply there, and I love that round. I really love how it looks. we're now on to round 7 with emerald, and we're going to join the yarn into the top of the first of any of these double trebles and work 2 chain, and this is going to count as one of the half trebles for the row, so that's 2 chains there. We're then going to work 2 half trebles, one into each of the next 2 stitches, and then we're going to work, I just need to tuck that out of the way, we're going to work a double treble, so that's 2 wraps there, and we're going into not the row below but the row below that, so we're back into the emerald row, and we miss 1 stitch, there's 4 stitches there, we've missed the first one and we're working into the second one, and we're doing front post double treble. Okay, then 1 chain and another front post double treble, so that's 2 wraps, and we're going under the next stitch like so, and then we're going to work 3 half trebles, 1, 2, 3. So what you've got there are your initial 3 half trebles into the top of the double trebles there. We've then got a double treble and another double treble with a 1 chain in the middle, and that goes into the centre 2 of this row, the second one row down, and then another 3 half trebles. So I'll just do you another combo of that. So this is a front post double treble, and it's round the second of the 4 stitches, so we're basically working around the centre 2 of that row below, a 1 chain to give us a little bit of width across, and then we're going in under the next one. Okay, and then it's a half treble, so that's what you've got, your 3 loops but round and through all 3, and we do 3 of those. 2, 3, so you can see how it's now changing the look and it's sort of pulling the green colour through. So front post double treble around the second stitch of that set, and another one around the 3rd stitch, and then your 3 half trebles. So I think there you can see how that's building up. So you've got your 2 front post double trebles with a 1 chain in the middle, and they're all being worked into that second row below, and then 3 half trebles into the top of those front post double trebles from that row. So we're going to go all the way round and then slip stitch to join, and we'll see you again shortly. We are back to do round 8. So round 7 should end up looking like this, where you've got the 2 long stitches here and then 3 shorter ones in the middle. So round 8, we're back with the lime, and you join into the 1 chain space that's between the 2 long stitches. It doesn't matter which one, and is fine. Bring that through, and we're going to do 2 chains. So 1, as you know, I like to do with the tail, and 1 with the working yarn, and then we're going to work 3 half trebles into the same hole. So that's a wrap in, grab it, bring it back through, wrap, and through all 3. So there's 1 more of those to do. So that's my set of 3. Now it does tell you to miss the next 5 stitches, which is that one, those 3, and that one. But we are now going to work some front post double trebles around the 3 raised stitches from not the row below but the one below that. So that's round 6. So you're not working into any of these stitches here at the top, you're just working into those. So you do, it's a front post double treble, so that's the double wrap, and then across and underneath at the front, and bring that back through, round through 2, round and through 2, round and through 2. I'm going to work another one, so 2 wraps under the next stitch from right to left, bring it back through, round and through 2, round and through 2, round and through 2, another double wrap, and then round the next stitch and complete your next double treble. So by missing 5 stitches, that's the 5 stitches I indicated before, because then we're going to work 4 half trebles into the 1 chain space between the 2 long stitches in the darker green. So 4 half trebles. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so then we're going to do some more double trebles around the front post. So this is actually quite a nice sequence to work. So you're going under the middle one, and then again and going under the third one. So that's making 3 really long looking stitches there. And then again we're going to be working 4 half trebles, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we repeat again. So it's the double treble around the front post on row 6, and again. And a third one. So I'll just show you that there. So you've got the initial 2 chain with 3 half trebles, then you've got the 3 front post double trebles worked around the sets of 3 that are in the row below, or 2 rows below, and then 4 half trebles there, another 3 front post double trebles, and another 4 half trebles, and you're going to keep that combination going all the way around until we get back to here, and then we slip stitch together because we're then going to change colour again. Okay, we'll be back in a moment with the next bit. So this is how you should look at the end of round 8. We've got 4 half trebles here, and then 3 front post double trebles worked into these 3 stitches. So we're going to start round 9, and round 9 is where we start to square the circle. So we are joining into a central raised double treble, doesn't matter which one, so I'm going into the top of that one there. Okay, and we need to chain 4 because this is going to be a corner. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to do a double treble into the same hole. 1, 2, oops, on there, 2, and then 2 chains and 2 more double trebles. Oops. So that's where you end up with 4 loops on your hook. Round and through 2, round and through 2, round and through 2. And again, a double wrap in the hole, bring your yarn back through, round and through 2, round and through 2, round and through 2. Now that is a corner, so we're now going to sort of square the line off. So we need another 2 double trebles, and then we are moving on to 3 trebles, three. I'm going to check my stitch count. Yep, thought it was. Just doubting myself there, but it's 3 half trebles. And each time we're working into the next stitch, we're not working any of these into the same stitch. So we've got 3 half trebles, 4 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, and just to help with your counting, those 4 actually sit over 4 of the half trebles on the previous row. And then 3 half trebles, because we're going back the other way height wise. Then 3 normal trebles, okay, then 2 double trebles, and then I'm just going to get entangled in my yarn. Then we're going to do another corner. So we're back at a set of 3 double trebles there. So we're in the centre one. So that's 1, 2 double trebles, 2 chains, and another 2 double trebles, and that's 2 corners, one side completed. Don't worry if it looks a little bit wobbly at the moment, it does flatten out as you work. So we're back on to 2 individual double trebles, so that's 1 into each of the next 2 stitches. Then we've got 3 trebles, 1, 2, oh, I seem to be just catching my yarn there. Just free a bit more. Uses quite a lot of yarn, does this round. So let's see. I've got my corner, I've got my 2 double trebles, and I'm working now 3, so that's my 3rd treble. Then 3 half trebles, 2, 3, 4 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 half crochet, sorry, half treble, what am I talking about? 3 half trebles, 3 normal trebles, or standard trebles, another 2 double trebles, and then we're back at another corner, which is 2 double trebles, that's 1, 2, 2 double trebles, 2 chain, and 2 double trebles again. A bit more of a combination to remember on this one. So this is where we're going with it, and you need to keep working obviously all the way around. So you've got 2 double trebles, 2 chain, 2 double trebles into a corner, then 2 individual double trebles, 3 trebles, 3 half trebles, 4 double crochet, 3 half trebles, 3 trebles, 2 double trebles, and then you're back at a corner with your combination of 2 double trebles, 2 chain, 2 double trebles. So keep working all the way around and slip stitch to join here. You'll finish with 2 individual double trebles in this corner, and then you'll have a nice square. Okay, we'll see you again shortly. Right, so this is how we look after round 9. So we've got the square now, and we're going to take the mustard yarn for the next round, and we're going to start doing some popcorn stitches. But initially we've got to get joined in. So we're joining into the corner space, and we are doing 5 chains. So that was 1. As you know, I like to do 1 with the tail. Just set my hand up. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to do 1 treble in the same corner. So just a standard UK treble. Right. Then we're going to miss a stitch here. So I'm going to take that as my first stitch. And so as we're missing the first stitch, I'm now going to work my popcorn into the second stitch, which for me is that one. So a popcorn is 5 trebles, so 1, 2, oops, now it's got a bit snagged up there, 3, 4, 5. So as you can see there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then take your hook out, pop it back into the first stitch, okay, then loop that back in, tighten it up so it doesn't come off, pull it through, and you've got a popcorn. Then we are going to chain 2, and then we're going to miss the next 2 stitches. Start your treble, so miss 2 and work into your third one. And again, we're doing another popcorn, and it's a 5 treble popcorn. So, 5. Again, give yourself a little bit of yarn there, pop it back in, top of the first stitch, grab your loop, bring it back through, and 2 chain, and then we're going to miss 2 and start with the next popcorn. So we're working this combination all the way across the row, and I'll just finish this one, then I will explain a little bit further, because obviously you don't need to watch me make too many popcorns. We don't want to make the film too long for you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going back in at number 1, grab, bring it back through. I'm going to do 2 chains there just for a bit of safety. So you're going to work your way all the way along the line, missing 2. So it's 2 chain at the top, so you're missing 2, working a popcorn, chaining 2, missing 2, working a popcorn, all the way along till you get over to here. And we'll join again in a moment, and I'll show you the corner. Okay. Right, so we are at a corner now, and where you should be is, that is the next to the last stitch, and there should be 8 popcorns between the corners. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is classed as your spare stitch at the end. So for the corners, all these are popcorns with 2 chains between them. For the final one, you only work 1 chain. Then you do a treble, 2 chains, and another treble, like that. And then it's 1 chain, and you miss that first stitch, and you're straight back into your 5 trebles for your popcorn. The other side of the corner. So 3, 4, 5, and then complete your popcorn, chain 2. Now I'm just going to show you this. I've worked a little bit further around just so I can show you that your corners at the moment will sort of curl under. They won't really want to sit square. But as you work the next round, they will definitely square off. So don't worry if at the moment your square is resembling something like this. I'm going to finish working this side and then do my slip stitch to join here. And then we'll come back to you in a moment with the next round. Okay. So that is round 10. So that you can stretch it out a little bit, but don't worry that your corners are curled under. So next colour is turquoise, and again we're joining into a corner. So bring the yarn through, do my one with the chain, then get my hand set up with the working yarn. And we need 3 chains in total, so I'm going to do another 2 here and then just neaten that up a bit, like so. Then we have a treble and 2 chains and then 2 trebles all into the corner. So you've got your chain of 3, a treble, 2 chains and 2 trebles. Right, you miss the next stitch and then you're going to put 3 trebles into that gap there. So 1, 2, 3. So that one, missed that one. Now you're working between the popcorns, so you're going to miss the popcorn and 3 trebles into the next space. Like so. And then you miss the next bobble and do another 3 trebles. So basically along this line you really are sort of squaring things off now. Oops, sliding around. We're going to work 3 trebles into each of these spaces between popcorns. And then just get to this corner because I find this quite a nice quick row to do. Obviously take your time, keep your tension nice and even. So as we get back to this final bit here, you work your last set of 3 trebles into the space between the popcorn and the corner stitch. So you've got all your sets across there. There should be 9, so that's not this is the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you've got 9 sets there. And then in your corner you have got 2 trebles 2 chain, and 2 trebles. So you can see how that's straightening things off, neatening them off. And then we're right back into the 3 trebles into each space. So the first set of 3 there again goes into the gap between the corner stitches. So you've got 3 there, and you're going to work all the way along again with 3 trebles into each space, and then 2 trebles, 2 chain, 2 trebles into your corners till you get all the way back round. And once you reach back round here, it's just a slip stitch to join, and you can see how that nicely starts to pull your corners into place as you're doing that. So we'll be back in a moment and I'll show you how that finishes, and we'll start round 12. Okay, so this is how we look after round 11. So you've got the pairs in the corner, so 2 trebles, 2 chain, 2 trebles there, and then sets of 3 all the way across into every gap, including the gap between the final popcorn and the stitch that was in the corner of the row below. So that's what you should have up to now. So round 12. We're going into any corner space, and we are going to chain 2. So get that anchored with the tail, and then 1 chain. So there you can see you've got your 2. Right, then we're going to do a half treble. So remember, that starts like a treble, and then you go through all 3, like so. 2 chains, and then 2 half trebles. So that's 1, and that's 2. So that's your corner. Right, then we miss the next 2 stitches, and these here are classed as the spaces. So the groups of 2 at the corners, but then 3 all the way across, they're the groups. So where it's referring to spaces in the instructions, it is talking about the bits between. So basically look for where your popcorn is and you're working into that hole. So we're now going to work 3 half trebles between the first 2 groups. 2, 3. I'm actually just going to move that little tail out of the way. So you've missed those first 2 stitches there and worked 3 half trebles into that group. Then we're fairly simply going to do 3 half trebles into each group across. So we keep going like that all the way across the row. Sure, am I counting correctly? I've only done 2 there. Look, I've only done 2 at that point, getting carried away with myself. Do make sure you count as you go across, because we do go into working individual stitches. So that's all sets of 3. Always worth just taking a moment to double check your work, because it's quite easy to miscount, particularly when it's just really nice little repetitive ones like this, where you're just putting 3 into every space, every gap. And then nearly at the end, I will show you a corner. Oops, snagged the, made a mess of that. Start that stitch again. 1, 2, 3, and then the final set of 3 half trebles. So we finished just before the pair in the corner, and then for your corner again you've got 2 half trebles, 2 chain, and another 2 half trebles. 2. And then you're going straight back into, so you miss those 2 stitches, you're going straight back in here with 3 half trebles again all the way across into each of these gaps. Go all the way round and we'll meet you back at the other end where there's just a slip stitch to join the square. Okay. Okay, so this is how you look at the end of round 12, and we've done this before where when you do a half treble it gives you an extra loop across the back, which initially is a little bit tricky to see, but it is definitely there. So we're wanting to keep these facing upwards. So for this one we're doing this in the sand colour. And as usual we're going to join into a corner, and for this we are doing a chain of 3. So I've just done one with the tail as normal, and then another 2, and then we're going with a treble, 2 chains, and 2 trebles. Now this is the bit that is a little bit fiddly. So we are doing trebles, but we're not going into these top stitches. We're turning the work over pretty much and going into, show you in a second, hopefully. There is a loop. It's always most difficult to find that first one. So there's a loop there. So we do a treble into that one, and then we're going to do a treble into each one along. Somehow once you've got that first one, the others start to show more easily. So there's the next one, and I will show you in a moment. Don't get sort of too bogged down in it. Find a loop at the back. So you're almost sliding under that pair there, but instead of coming forward, just go backwards like that. That first one's always a bit of a struggle, but yeah, sort of head forward and then sneak it back. Show you another one. So you head forward and sneak it back. And if I just show you there what you've got this little chain section is facing forward. And then that sits neatly behind it. So I'll just show you a wrong one, just so you can see what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to go into there. That's wrong. And also, we don't want you to go in under there either, because that would be wrong. So you can see, if I finish that one off, you can see there's a very definite difference. So if you do get it wrong, it will show. So please don't get it wrong. One more of those. So going into that back loop there. They do feel a little bit stretched to start with, but as you finish working across the row, it evens itself out. So go all the way along to the corner, and then you want 2 trebles with 2 chains and another 2 trebles into the corner. And what you should find when you've finished is that you will have, starting from that point, you'll have 38 trebles going all the way along, and then you'll have a 2 chain bit in the corner. So there'll be 38 stitches, including the 2 at either end that's in the corner space. The other 2, which will be here, would equate to the other sides. So it's that bit, and you're looking for 38 stitches. So we'll join you again shortly, and then we'll be on the final row. Right, so this is how it looks at the end of round 13. So do double check as you do each line across. I find it best to check that I've got the right number of stitches. So I did count that I had 38 across with my 2 chains in the corner every time I did a row, because it's easy to tweak by 1 stitch while you're still within that sphere. Now round 14 is the white yarn. So we're joining into the final corner, and then working 3 chains. That's 2, 3, and then a treble, and a 1 chain and 2 trebles. So the only difference really on this round is that you are working a treble into each of the stitches. So rather than trying to faff around behind, you're actually going in to the way I would class this as the normal way of working. Other people may have a slightly different version of it, but to me, this row here, you work under, like so that you've got 2 of the threads to work into, and you work your treble into that. So all the way across, stitch for stitch, and when you get to a corner, you work 2 trebles, 1 chain this time, and another 2 trebles just for the corners. So you should have, when you've finished, I won't make you watch me do too many trebles, you should have 42 stitches, 42 trebles, including 2 of the corner ones. So those 2 corner ones are part of this row, and there'll be another 2 corner ones before the chain there. So you'll have 42 stitches in total, all worked nice and neatly and securely across the edge. Again, go all the way round, join with your slip stitch, and then that's the square complete. I will show you in a moment what your completed square looks like, and then that is that one finished. You need to make, I think it's 5 of these that you make, but do double check, you don't want to be making too many. So on that one, we'll be back in a minute and I'll show you the finished round. Okay, so this is how it should look when you have finished. You'll have 42 stitches on either side with a 1 chain corner space, and that should match perfectly with some of the other squares that we've made. So, you know, hopefully you've really enjoyed making this one. Some of these squares are really interesting, a bit different to make, and they're good fun. You do need to make 5 of these in total. I have just double checked my notes. So good luck with that. Hope you enjoy making it, and the next instalment will be, I believe, the borders. So we're nearly there. Okay, see you again soon.